Welcome back to day 2 of the Adobe Live event. If you missed it, you should watch video 1 here from last week for context. There's so much good stuff in that video, and I hope you agree. I mean, it's worth the hour and a bit of runtime that it's on. Today, we're going to be picking up right where we left off. Let's start by taking a look at the wireframe sketches that I did between the 2 recordings.
Okay, and we're live. Hey, hey Travis.
we're live now.
Okay.
Dude, how are you?
I'm good.
Oh man, I'm so excited because yesterday we did all this, thinking and exploration, and now we get to get into like some fun design stuff.
Yeah.
Is there anything we need to say at the top of the show?
No, so we are here with Travis for 19 minutes. Maybe we can recap what we did yesterday.
Yes.
Because the goal of the show, and it's for 3 days, so we are on the second day, is really to experience the whole process when you face a problem and you want to solve it with design thinking. So yesterday I randomly picked, in a bowl, in a jar, a problem, and the problem was it's really hard to find a good place to live in this city. Mm-hmm. So I was the user you interviewed, so we picked Paris, and it's true that it's super hard to find a good place in Paris. Mm-hmm. So I shared my experience. You explained how to interview someone, and also you talked about the design process with discovery, define. So I
have a piece of paper here where we drew out what the design process kind of looks like. It's kind of like a 2-hump camel, where the second hump is really big. And that first part where I interviewed you and asked about your experience and your stresses and discomforts with the discovery of a new place to live. Yeah. That was all in the discovery process right here. Yeah. And then after we did that, I interviewed you and I took all these. Every one of these notes right here is like an insight, right? Mm-hmm. And we took these and we grouped them all up and we found a few different themes. The themes that I wrote on these blue sticky notes were time and stress, trust, and scheduling, and then also quality.
And quality, yeah. Quality of the pictures,
of like the postings, like for you to, exactly. So after that, we did some big brainstorming. After we defined our kind of like our learnings, we tried to think big, and we kind of went crazy, and we had all these ideas of what could possibly be solutions to those stresses. I mean, we did a pretty good job. I took all these home and lined them up and stuck them on the wall and stuff. It was pretty good. And then after that, we went into the prototyping stage, and we began with just simple sketches. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun, and we went through some principles of sketching. Are we able to see that? Okay. Yeah. We went through principles of sketching and talked about some best practices. And one of the things that I did, this is just all review. In case you guys missed it yesterday, we dive really deep into this. One of the ways to learn how to do be a good UI sketcher is to be familiar with what kind of patterns you see in the wild. And one good practice is to take something that you see pretty commonly. This is my Twitter profile. And I put a sheet of paper over it and kind of blocked out the different content types, right? There's different types of content. Sometimes they're just imagery. Sometimes things have meaning, like icons or buttons. They're a little bit more specific in their meaning. And then the yellow would be like content, the actual tweets or what have you. So by doing this, you can get a good sense of how pages are constructed, how layout is formed, and how intention is guided by the UI for you and I who are using it. Great. So after we did that, we started sketching.
Oh.
Yeah.
You did your homework.
We have a lot of sketches here. And so now what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be reviewing the sketches that we did yesterday, or that you and I only had time for maybe 2 sketches each yesterday.
2, yeah.
I have those here, so we'll reveal those 2.
Okay, good.
But I want to kind of talk about the journey that I took after the show. Yeah. I went and found a corner in the office somewhere, and I started sketching, and I sketched even last night after I put the kids to bed. it was a whole lot of fun. I was like, it was hard to sleep last night because I was like buzzing. You know what I mean? When you get into that mode and everything is just kind of like running together, it was great. So anyway, one of the comments in the stream yesterday when we were big idea 10xing, when we were brainstorming, somebody said Tinder for home shopping. And that really stuck with me. That got me excited. So what I did is I talked to you yesterday about one of the ways to get started sketching is to focus on the point of the highest emotion and highest excitement, and start there. You know, like don't start with the beginning page or the home screen. Start with the exciting part, because that's what you're going to use to sell yourself and guide yourself and like carry that emotion through. But also to sell to your to stakeholders or to other creators or to collaborators and things like that. So what I did is I focused on that page first, and you'll notice that I didn't use a big Sharpie marker. I didn't go into an application. I used just a ballpoint pen, and I made, before I even filled these in, I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rectangles at the top of the screen, because the reason I made 5 right away is because I knew that I would not leave this page until at least a minimum of 5. You have to force yourself into going there, because if you go 1 or 2 and then stop, you're selling yourself short. You're not going to get to the best solution. So the idea is to make as many as you can, as short amount of time as you can. So I made 5 boxes, 6 boxes actually, now that I'm counting, 6 boxes, and try to sketch out different UIs for how we could sell the idea of finding a home. So this will be like the browsing screen.
Yeah.
And I looked inside of my mind and say, like, what would I think be interesting? And also I outright copied existing UI, because that's valid. I mean, it's totally okay to just go copy.
Legit.
It's totally fine. But you have to put your own twist on it and combine it with other things. And then that's a different story. So
pencil is the best, you see.
Yeah,
that's what they say in the chat. Pencil is the best.
Pencil is the best. Just anything quick and fast. And then after that, after I did these first 6, I was so excited. I kept on going, and I think that I arrived in a pretty good place. Let me walk you through what we got here. The first one is very Tindery, but it's more of like a next. You know, you can vote it up or down, and then next. This one gives you 2 at a time here, and so you can vote on the best one that you like of the 2.
One you prefer.
I used to play this game when I was a kid when I had M&Ms, and I would put the M&Ms in my hand and then smush them together, and then I would eat the one that got crushed, and then I would get another one, and then sometimes there would be one M&M that would last.
Yeah, this is something you can do with M&Ms. You cannot do that with eggs, for instance.
It
wouldn't work.
That's true. This one is more of a casual stream that you've seen. You know, like you just keep swiping up until you see them.
Like
it's a feed.
Infinite scrolling.
Yeah. This one was interesting. I wanted it to be more like an image grid, like kind of a magazine-y kind
board.
of.
Yeah, like Pinterest board.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, the next one over here is exactly
Pinterest.
I even wrote that. Like, I totally acknowledge who I'm stealing from. That's from Pinterest. This one is more like a notification stream where we have like, this is the person who's posting the house, this is where it's at and how much it costs, and here's a picture of it. It's kind of like a feed or a stream, kind of leading on from that, but maybe a little bit more congenial and organized. And then after I was like, hey, Pinterest, let's go copy other things. And so I thought of this one is like more like a magazine, actually inspired by that one. But this one here is an app that I saw. It's like a dating app that you can go in and quickly rate the type of people that you're into or something like that. I don't know. And I thought, that's interesting. Like, what if we gave you a bunch of thumbnails that are like aspects of a house? You know, like this one has a pool. This one is next to a school. This one is, painted bright purple. And you could see all these different like features. I like it. Yeah.
So would it profile your taste a little bit?
That's right. So after you go through this like experience, it's kind of like an onboarding experience. We know your taste profile in houses, and we can whatever.
And push the best.
Right.
Places for you. Yeah.
This next one is copying another application that I've been using lately called Quartz, which is a news application, but it's a chat stream.
Oh, nice.
Really interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's very new, yeah. So the idea would be like, we would ask you a question or suggest like a house or something, and you would respond with canned responses, yes or no, basically positive or negative.
Yeah.
But we could be funny about it, I don't know, whatever. Use emojis or something, and then basically you're building the profile again. And the last one is an outright copy of Tinder.
They say a lot of dating experience there.
Yeah. Like finding a house is like dating, right?
Yeah.
I think everything is like dating.
They have good apps also. Like they are.
For dating, there's a lot of domain knowledge there. There's a lot to pull from. So Tinder is obviously the biggest one in the dating space. And what's so interesting about Tinder is that the UI for Tinder has become so ingrained in our common lexicon that you can say to somebody, swipe right, and they know that you're upvoting something, or you're giving it a positive review, and it doesn't have to be dating anymore. You can say swipe right to anything, and it's funny. So there's a funny story. I've been married for 10 years. I've never downloaded Tinder before. I'm just aware of it. So I texted my wife. Just so you know, I downloaded
this is
Tinder.
For work. Yeah.
It's just for work. Just so you know, I downloaded Tinder, and it's for UX research. And she says, "LOL, wait for me. I want to judge people." So anyway, Tinder was really interesting. I liked the fun mechanism of it. It had like a really you felt empowered, which was weird. It has this weird emotional dynamic to it. But I think in the case of judging homes is a little bit different than judging people outright. Okay. So this is like the experience of browsing for the home. This is all just one experience, right? And you can go on and on and on with these sketches. And this is, after I did this for a while, I thought, okay, well, how does that fit into the rest of the application, right? So I started mapping things out, like when you finally do find the one you want, what does the house profile look like? What does the landlord's profile look like? And under it, I wrote different aspects or things that I wanted, kind of like content.
So already working, on the flow.
The flow.
Yeah.
The flow, and also the content of the page.
Yeah.
And this was kind of like really messy, just like happened really fast. And I was actually brainstorming names and stuff as well while I was doing it. And then this one is a little bit more cleaned up version of this. And then you'll notice that this can communicate so much to somebody who sits down and reads it with me. Because I'm talking about, here's the title of the page, but here are just like content types, right?
Information you will find.
Exactly. And this, we talked about how prototyping is in essentially a way to communicate with people. Okay. So if I sat down with you and I went through each of these things, we could have a very detailed conversation about what is a good idea, what is not, what is possible, like engineering-wise, and what is not. And there's no UI here. These are just boxes and lists, really. And this is really great because it enabled me to think in terms of UI after I made sure that all of the content bases were covered, right? Oftentimes we hear that, there's a problem, like when you're doing like client work, that like, oh, they didn't give me the content yet, or whatever. I've heard that so many times. But it's true, like content will inform the design, and if you have it the other way around, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's true.
So yes, I definitely dived into the emotional state of it first because that's what got me excited. Okay. But there was a time where you have to go up for air and take a breath around, take a breath and look around and see what really is possible. Okay, so now that I had these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 screens, I wanted to flesh them out into like usable UIs that I could start translating into. Okay,
so this is what we did yesterday. I mean, started to do like a sketching screens.
Yeah, what we did was kind of like this, jumping into the emotion, which is totally valid. You can it's the creative process. It doesn't have to be waterfall A, B, C. Jump around, explore, like do some of this, jump into the other thing, and like it'll all inform each other very organically. So there's no real rule about it. Okay. And so even the work that we did while we were on camera informed how I was organizing, these things, and here. So maybe let's walk through these screens a little bit more detailed, and then we'll talk about how to build them in Adobe XD.
Oh, nice.
Yes, that's the plan for today.
That's exciting. I think paper to
Adobe XD. This is the whole process. I'm excited about this. before we started and we were doing the emails, I was like a little nervous about like, hey, we're not going to jump right into the product, and it's Adobe Stream,
we exchanged about it.
And you were like, I think this is right. I think we should do the whole process. And you know what? I have 100% more confidence in the work that we're going to be doing today than if I would have come in and said, okay, let's do
some strands.
Yeah. Or even like, here's a project that I did before, let's deconstruct it. Like we're going to be creating live. We're going to be trying new things in front of a live audience. But I have so much more confidence because we put in the effort and energy to think and work through it mentally. Anyway, so here we go. This is the home. And I thought, well, it's interesting when you get to a home screen, like how do you like get a big batch of narrowing things down? So we have a few different options. Oh, we're back to this. Okay, cool. So we have here cities that our service is starting out in, our pilot cities or something like that. Yeah. So we have Paris, obviously. We have San Francisco that we're in. We have New York, and then we have near me.
Oh, nice.
So maybe like you're in a place that's not represented as like a high
spot, like
like we don't have a lot of penetration in that area, but still maybe there's a few listings near you. We can find you and use some geolocation there. Okay, here's the Tinder kind of thing. the page is called Swipe Right. It's not even called like the Discovery. But here, so you can we have a profile. We have a big hero image, a title of the home, maybe like a location, and then like the price is really important to people, and so. Also, right here below, I wanted to make sure because when I was doing my research, I went to other housing listing websites.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of the most popular refinements in terms of finding a place to live came down to how much is the rent, how big is the house in terms of how many bedrooms and how many bathrooms.
Yeah, that's the experience I had.
It's really simple, right? There's like maybe 4 controls, and so I wanted to represent those right under the swipe right and left, so that like even though it's all like fun actions in here, but you want to.
Travis stole my idea, so I don't know which one, but you stole the idea of Mainnet.
I totally stole it. That's fine. Okay, and then after that we have, let's say you swipe right on one, or you select it, or somehow like decide that you want to look at it deeper. You can go into the housing profile. And this is very similar to what we did before, but with some differences. Let's look at the one we did yesterday. Oh, no, I didn't even do this one yesterday. Okay. So it's got a hero image. It's got like this bookmarking thing. Like maybe you want to say like, I want to watch this house. Yeah. Like I'm not ready to commit or submit what's it called? Application.
Yeah, the application with the packet.
But I definitely want to watch it. So, and then also here's an indicator. It's live. Like somebody's giving a live tour of their home. They're like kind of periscoping, or something like that. And that same switch, if somebody's not live, it could be like request a walkthrough. So like it could be like a dual a spot that could have 2 different kinds of functions. If it's not live, it could be a button saying request a walkthrough. Got a price. We have a profile, a quick profile that could lead to a deeper profile of the landlord, and maybe like a review or a rating of them. Here's a deeper view of like other views of the house, like a bedroom photograph or the bathroom photograph, the living room, kitchen, instead of just the hero shot. Here's a description, like all those things that you were saying the other day, like incomplete information. I want to make sure that we have like a good structure. So that people can have the information that they need.
Nice.
And then right at the bottom, a big apply now. Like if like the main goal that somebody has when they're going to
that's the call to action.
The call to action, exactly.
Apply now. Boom.
They want to validate and then make a decision.
Nice.
Cool. And you can go back to the swiping screen. So after that, we have let's say we clicked on the landlord profile here. We can see the landlord here, and they have a landlord rating, their name, and then other properties that they have.
Okay.
And then here is office hours, and I looked around like how to do this, and I was inspired by like movie ticketing applications.
Oh yeah.
Where they have like, hey, here's the date.
Book a time.
Book a time. It's just like click it, and then like if they like they have already pre-approved these slots, so you just click it and then
exactly. For the user, also to steal the experience from.
Totally.
different category of app. Because there's, okay, now I get it, because I do it all the time for
Right.
movies. Yeah,
Recognizable patterns.
very exactly.
Absolutely.
Like it.
Speaking of stealing, this header was stolen from in what's it called? Instagram.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
it is. That's your profile
Watching.
picture. This is your profile now, and you're the person trying to find a place to live.
Okay.
So this is who that is, and like how many places are you watching? How many applications have you submitted? How many people, like how many landlords have viewed your profile? Like, oh, is he good? And like, is this person? And then we have this idea of a packet.
Okay.
A packet is a deeper dive into are you financially stable? What is your
Documents.
document, all that kind of stuff, like your actual application.
And actually, what is really nice is that now with smartphones, you can directly take pictures of your documents.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like
we can
want
upload.
my ID. Yeah, just take a picture.
Absolutely.
So you can really build a kind of
And then this
digitalized
was
packet. I like
you
it.
sketched this screen out yesterday, and we can see how it inspired these other sketches. That you had a feed of. Is this in the camera?
Yeah.
Okay. This had you had a feed of like which ones are you watching, which ones are you like currently engaged with, and so I had two different segments of submitted applications.
Okay.
And ones that you're watching. You're not committed, but you've bookmarked them stuff.
Bookmarked.
So it's very similar themes like that.
Nice.
We have like the your
message or there is
the contact the envelope. I changed that into like they can view your packet instead of
Nice.
contact you, and maybe there's a packet a contact. If they were looking at your packet, they would whatever. But yeah, so you see how like the iterations of a screen can inform the next version of it.
Nice.
And then we have, let's say, your own packet. You are looking at your own packet here in this.
Okay,
in this
so
one.
you click on my packet and then
Yeah.
jump to the screen.
And there's a call to action here at the bottom so that you can edit your packet.
Yeah.
So, but your packet, like I did some research on like what landlords want to see in your packets, and so usually everybody starts with a cover letter, and then they want to verify your income, referral letters, credit score, and more. In fact, when I was doing this sheet, I listed all those things out, and then I realized that the list that I had was a little wonky, right? Like it started with cover letter, and then it was an application that you fill out, and like if the application is the same for everybody, even though it's a required document, why is that at the top? So I went in through and I reordered these like 1, 5, 2, 4, 3. So I reordered them to make a more of an emotional impact on the viewer, which would be the potential landlord. So what they want to see is, does this person make enough money to cover my rent? That's what they're.
That's the most important.
Right.
Yeah.
So they want to say, okay, they have a good, home life. They're not going to break my, furniture. They can cover the rent. And here are some past landlords that referred them. This screen we've already seen, which is like the movie
profile.
times and stuff. So I redid this one.
And the live walkthrough. So yeah, and that's the one you.
This is
created yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. And then here are just a few kind of like external screens that are not necessarily embedded into the flow.
Okay.
A place like notifications. Somebody has accepted your, what is it? Application. Why can't I think of that word? I keep on thinking appraisal. Here's a search. Like do a search, and like there's the controls: minimum rent, maximum rent, bedrooms.
Nice.
And then here's
the gallery. So you choose the. Okay.
Yeah. Tap in,
Very
see
visual.
more photographs, and that's everything. So,
nice.
That was a pretty heavy review of like all the work that we did the past 24 hours. And now what we're going to be doing is jumping into Adobe XD and start laying out the screens, trying to build a prototype.
Okay.
That's our main goal.
And I have to say that so when did you start using Adobe XD? Was it last week?
To be honest, you sent me a preview of it last week, and I used it for 2 hours that week.
Yeah,
just
2 hours.
Just to play. I played around with like the default one.
So this would be interesting for us because you're a professional in this field, so it would be interesting to see how you adapt and use the app. So really looking forward.
And then last night I used it to set up the document.
Oh, okay.
Which we're going to be starting in right now.
Yeah, great.
Okay. So
let's do that.
Can we switch to my laptop screen here?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we are on it? Okay, cool. So speaking of the document I set up, there is a link to it Oh, where's my mouse? Come on, mouse.
It's not frozen.
Okay, here, no, there it is. Look at that big mouse. Okay, so I uploaded the project that I started last night, and you guys can find it if you go to @DevTipShow on Twitter. I sent out a link to it about 20 minutes ago, and it's a Google Drive link. When you go to the link, it'll look like this, and just click this top button right here, and this will give you the download. And it's a zip file. Download it, and inside of that, you're going to have this file. This is an Adobe XD file, which is the demo that we're doing right now. And there's also going to be this folder of assets, and basically it's just pictures of cities and maps and like different things that we're going to be dropping in. You know, one of like the most time-consuming things as a designer is looking for assets. Not even like this stuff. You can do this in like 50 minutes, but like finding all these faces and finding the right picture of the city, that always takes the longest. So if you want to follow along, you have like these pictures of like bedrooms and stuff right here. Now, I want to say up front that I do not own these images, and you are not permitted to use them professionally. This is only for like design practice. You cannot use these if you're getting paid for your work.
Oh, I see.
Just saying that up front. So let me close these windows. Yeah. Okay. And double click to open up. Cool. So let me show you what I've done so far. It's not a lot of work on the UI, but it's just like more of like the branding. Oh. And so I decided,
it's like a mood board. Or
it's not
like branding, yeah.
It's the brand. Like I wanted to make a fun design. Like I don't want
color themes. Nice.
Yeah. So okay, yeah. Let's start down there. I picked out a few color themes. Actually, you know how I got these color themes? I used Behave. What's that?
You will see. Tell me what you used.
Probably not what you think. I used Adobe.
Color.
No, I know that exists, and it's fun. But I used Adobe. What's the thing on the phone?
Oh, Capture.
To make to make little like things for Twitter and stuff. It's called Post.
Oh, Post.
Is it called Post?
Yeah.
Adobe Post.
Okay.
So there's all these like color palettes that you can choose from.
Yeah,
and I screenshotted those color palettes and brought them in and started sampling them because they're just so nice. I was like, I really like these colors. So these are my top 3.
These colors are based on popular themes on the
in Cooler or in color.
In color. So it's kind of the same, but
it's a roundabout way. So I was like, I like these themes. So these are my top 3, and I eventually landed on this one at the top here. And so I have colors here, and I also have a few icons.
Okay.
These icons are not made by me. They're from a gentle person named Petrus Narigela, and you can find, they're called crispy icons if you search Behance. And he has a bigger set. There's like 50 or 80 of them or so, and I just pulled out a few of them that I imagine that we would likely use.
Nice.
So if you do want to see these icons, and I want to give the credit to the designer of these icons, they're called crispy icons on Behance from designer Petrus. Crispy icons. Okay, and then the last thing is the brand of the thing. I had a huge conversation. That's what this is. This big stream. I had a huge conversation with my my podcast co-host Carlos Montoya at Los Montoya _ here, and I was like, hey, I need some help naming this housing app, and he just and like he's such a cool guy. I just go, I need help, and he's on it. He's like, okay, thinking, and my first idea, which is kind of funny, I said I want it to be called Holmes because it's like a detective for a new home.
I like it.
Holmes, home, you know, and but that we threw that out.
You can imagine like a guy with the lens.
Right, I was thinking like a brand like with like a pipe, you know, like like one of those like exactly. So we kind of went back and forth, and I was like 10x me, go big, you know, like and he did. Look at this.
Wells with laser tag.
With like houses with lasers on their heads.
Always the same.
That's how you go big, is put a laser on it. That's a reference from yesterday's stream. Okay, but yeah, look at that. Like immediately he comes out with a list. God. Home-like, homes, flat curious, flat run, home run, flat boodle. I didn't even read that one. Flatty, homie, the flat club, flatster, homester, flat salty, flat satty.
Flat satty.
Flat satty. Homestay.
Maybe it's flat stay.
Flat stay.
Yeah, I guess it was
maybe
flat
typo. Okay. So he's like boom, 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 like so fast, like all these things.
Flat
Like
curious is funny. Like,
Flat curious? That's a good one.
Flat and curious.
Yeah, and later on, like so I'm the blue and he's the gray.
And then you're
I was like, that's
so
good. And we got stuck on a few different themes, and like we went back and forth for a while, right? Like that's okay, that's good. Like, and I was like, I like the idea of dwell. It's like it's a nice, like comfortable kind of thing. You dwell in a place, and
okay.
And we went back and forth. Flat rat, flat panda, flat rat. I was like,
yay. The dwell also, like
Dwellster,
like Aeon Labs,
Granny Flats,
Granny Flats,
Flat Lucky. That's a good one.
Yeah.
How do you say the name? I can't say.
Mademoiselle.
Oh, Flat Lucky. I like that one.
Mademoiselle Lise.
And then I stumbled onto the idea of place. So, it's a place that you dwell, right? That's how we kind of went there. And I looked at the magazine Dwell a little bit, because there's a magazine.
Oh, there's a magazine.
It's called Dwell. It's very like high end kind of homes and things like that. And he says Play Place, which is like a McDonald's branded like fun center for kids and things. So we went with we kind of narrowed it down after going big, you know, like big design 10x thinking, kind of narrowing things down. You know,
that was your graph. After
we're still following that same process.
After the
right?
Nielsen spot, to go back to the chat spot.
And I said, how about
in French?
How about place? And he said, you know, it's like an apple called the pencil. The pencil. It's like simple. It just means exactly what it is. And so I was like, I think it's neutral. It's friendly.
It's also the trend with Adobe apps when you think about it.
You call it experience design because that's what it is.
You know. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the case in the past. Like we had like some crazy
fireworks.
names, like fireworks. Okay.
Well, fireworks is inherited though. It wasn't.
It's Micromedia.
Yeah. And then like toward the end, I was like, it's neutral, it's friendly. I think I like it. Do I like it? And he goes, yes, you do. so that's how we made the decision. Okay, thanks, man. So this whole conversation is also in the download. You can read through that and kind of like see exactly how the ideation process of naming went down. And this was like last night at 11:30. I'm texting my friend. He's trying to get some sleep, and I'm like, what do you think about this? You know, that it just pays to have good collaborators who are always down. Okay, and so having the word place, I wanted to make a logo. Okay. So I just quickly chose a nice font. In this case, it's Gotham. I typed out place, nice letter spacing, and
you have to license this font, guys.
Yeah,
just to make sure you understand that it's not like
the font is not included in your download.
It's not free.
It's not. But I stroked it, or outlined it.
And actually, it's interesting to know, for people in the chat, when it comes to typography and typefaces, that for prototyping, that's perfectly fine because you're still using web techniques and desktop apps. So it's a kind of license, for instance, that is covered by typekits. But when it goes in production inside a mobile app, it's a completely different license. And usually it's quite expensive, but it's also a very good way to make a difference.
Yeah.
I know a lot of stories of mobile experience and where people notice, there's something different, and they don't know, but it's just a typeface.
Yeah.
Like choosing a beautiful typeface in mobile apps really makes a difference. And Gotham is is the Helvetica of the 21st century. It's very trendy.
Well, it's a very urban inspired font face. It's called Gotham, which is
Gotham City, like Batman. No, it's true, and actually it got popular with Barack Obama. Yes we can.
Yeah.
This is
totally.
Great.
So, so just a word about licensing in this project. Number one, you don't have the font included in the download that I gave you earlier, and number two, what you have here are vector outlines, and even these shapes, even the likeness that here, they're under license, and they cannot be used. If you ever want to use this to make something, you cannot use these. These are only for learning purposes. Okay, let's move on. So now I had an interesting learning experience last night. As I mentioned, I used this for 2 hours previous to last night, and then last night while setting this up. And so I typed out the letter forms in Illustrator, and because I knew that Illustrator works with comment, you can drag and drop and copy and paste. And when I did the copy and paste from the Illustrator artboard to the Comet pasteboard, I noticed that when I zoomed in, I had some rasterization. And I said, okay,
You know
well, that's a really big problem for me. How do I overcome this? And so the process that I went through to get these nice clean vector lines down here are that I went into Illustrator and didn't copy it from the pasteboard or from the artboard. I actually exported it as SVG.
Okay.
And then dragged it onto the Comet pasteboard.
Okay, so that's one way.
Okay.
Another way also because when you copy paste SVG. So that's what is in the clipboard actually. So
yeah, okay.
we don't say that, but that's the case. And the first thing, I'm pretty sure this is SVG text. And that's why it's not properly rendered. So the other way I would do is in Illustrator, you can select the text element, right click, and say, I think it's break outlines, like the
Create outlines.
Create outlines.
Yeah,
So
Command Shift O.
So it becomes like just vectors,
Yep.
like path. And then you can copy paste and you will get this.
I think that's what I did, but I might be wrong.
Oh, okay. So
I might be wrong.
okay, let me
It doesn't
double-check.
matter. We do have a solution.
But when you export, you have a clean SVG. That's what you
Yes.
say. So you have
Yeah,
to say
yeah.
file.
So when I export, I have
Okay.
the outlines here. I can double click on
Okay,
the
maybe we need more
A
testing.
and actually get the vector lines right here. I can use my pen tool to manipulate them.
Yeah.
So
That's what we want.
cool, yeah. And in fact, I did manipulate them when I went over here and started working on the brand, because one of the things I did after getting trying these colors out is I made a little like a pixelized grid,
Nice.
like a pattern, and I needed to stretch these letter forms out.
Oh, yeah.
So I went into the SVG vectors and I just kind of spaced them out to match the color bricks that they're on.
Nice.
Now this is not all part of the app. This is, in fact, one of the things that I did like about Adobe XD is that it enabled like really, really quick thinking in terms of design output, right? Like I'm a visual thinker. I like to think by using my hands, my mouse, and like trying something new. And the way like the art boards are and like the performance of this application, I was able to take this art brand number 1 and duplicate it into brand number 2, make a few quick changes, quickly bring it into brand number 3, brand number 4, trying brand number 4-1 to try different like color palettes. So in a matter of like 5 or 10 minutes, I had these like 4.1 options of like the splash screen, if you will, of our application. I actually like number 3 the best. I think it's simple and it kind of reminds me of like a what's it called, like a furniture store or something like that. It kind of like looks like that. So I like that a lot. And that's kind of like the whole setup that we have right now. There's nothing else. Oh, here's a few type selections that I chose. So I chose
Headline. Yeah, nice.
I chose to use Roboto, which is something I'm familiar with because we use that. That's our Google font, so I'm like familiar with like the different weights of it and how it kind of operates. So I wanted to choose something. Here's a tip, guys: if you're going to create under pressure, use something that you're familiar with in terms of like the tools and kind of assets, because you can know what to expect. And that's really the reason I chose Roboto. And I outlined a few different kind of like type styles, headlines, different types of headlines, body copy, a subtext, and maybe like I tried those different colors for the hypertext links. And we have these here to sample from, but it doesn't mean that we're bound to them. Like I could be like messing around in it, and then like, what, this headline is just not working here. I need something completely new, and just iterate that way.
Okay.
Like I can be completely free, but I have like quick references. All right, now I think we've taken a tour of this whole thing. Oh, one more thing. I think we mentioned it in the last hour or two about gradients in SVGs.
Yes.
I was like, looking for, because I had an image, and I was like, how do I mask a fade into this? I was like, I can't do it yet, and I'm sure they're working on it, but right now it's not available.
So you found a way?
Yeah, I did. So I mean, it's similar to how I did it with the type. I made a vector. I just made a rectangle in Illustrator, used the gradient tool, and then exported it as an SVG. Okay. And then just dragged and dropped it onto
SVG gradient. Yeah.
It's an SVG gradient, yeah. And what's nice about this is that because it's a vector, I can like make the gradient as tall or as I need to. And also, because I did 100% black to 100% opaque or transparent black, I can then use this opacity slider built into XD to say what's the degree that I want, of the gradient to be, and also have a white version. And I don't know where I'm going to use these, but I figured I might use them, so I just put them here as a kind of like a tool.
So I was just checking for the copy paste from Illustrator. So if you create the outlines from the typeface, it will work. And after that, you copy paste, and you will keep clean vectors.
Are you talking about text?
Yeah.
So create outlines in Illustrator.
You create text. Right click on the text in Illustrator, create outlines, and then copy and paste in comments.
I must have done something wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe just a copy was still the the previous text or something.
Maybe.
Maybe. I mean,
Interesting. Well, I'm glad to know that works. That was a
and now we have a new
little
tip,
bit
like
easier.
copy paste gradients. So that's good.
So I mean, and keep in mind that like Adobe XD is what 0.05, right? That's our version number right now. Something like that.
Actually,
It's not
a preview.
It's not
That's what we say.
1.0
It's
yet.
not 1.0. It's a preview.
Yeah.
So
And
we'll update the preview like every month, and at some point we will have the 1.0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like these kind of like SVG workarounds,
Yeah.
like you could think like to yourself, oh, that's a horrible workflow, and maybe it truly is.
And it is.
But it's not supposed to be. It's not complete yet. And
Yeah.
and if I think about to how I taught myself how to design, and this is funny because I'm sitting in Adobe offices right now. My first software or like image editing kind of like design application was this free kind of like weird version of Photoshop that we got when we bought a scanner. It was like Elements or something like that.
Photoshop Elements.
Which
Which
like
is
that.
a light version of Photoshop with a UI which is less professional.
It was it was like it was like intended for your mom to make like a greeting card.
No, exactly.
And
It still exists. I mean,
it does
it's
it?
still very
I
popular.
didn't. And but there's no layers in it. There's no layers palette in at least the
No.
version that I had. I don't know if it is anymore.
No, there are some layers, but and the intent was really to target anyone.
So there's like a value in being a creator, in taking like the rough tools that you have and finding workarounds and finding ways to smash them into like a recognizable object. I'm just saying
Like
that if you're
digital painting in MS Paint, Microsoft,
exactly,
that's-
I'm just saying if you're complaining about
That's a challenge.
in your mind about like SVG gradients not being available yet, I think that it's good for you. You know.
And I just put a link in the chat, so it's adobexd.uservoice.com, so you can see it. So this is a place where you can provide feedback.
Yeah.
Also, if you have a bug, you want to share it with the team, and also it's good because you see all the feature requests.
You see
what's coming. So it's a good place to check.
Yeah, we had in the last hour we had the product.
The product and community manager.
And they're talking about what's coming up and all these exciting things. So like, and also they said they have planned monthly releases.
Yeah, monthly updates.
Which is fantastic.
Features.
All right, now for the design work, right? So what we're going to do is press A for the artboard, and then I'm going to select the artboard that I want to start with. I'm going to use a Android mobile, and the reason for this is the size. 360 by 640 is in my opinion, a great size to work with for mobile, and the reason for that is that it's smaller than most, right? Because it's super easy to get bigger, but constraining yourself and forcing yourself to work for like, I mean, there is smaller, granted, you know, but going that small for like this, and it's a very common size too, is a really good practice for me anyway. And this is the, you know, at work when I work at Google, this is the size that we generally design for first. So I'm going to rename this by clicking on the title here, and I'm just going to call this Home. So looking back at our sketches here, we've already taken a preview of this, but our home is basically branding at the top. We have the most common cities, or the cities that our service is kind of in, and then at the bottom we have geolocation service. And then we also have across all of these views, we have a menu bar.
And we have Mademoiselle asking, how do you do the videos for Behance? So let me put a link in the chat. Here we go. Oh no, that's not the one. Sorry. Here. XD Creative Jam, and you will have video tutorials, and it mentions how to create videos. So basically you create a prototype, you play the prototype, and there is a record button to create a video. Where is the ghost camera? Yeah, it disappeared.
It's a ghost
And
camera.
also the ghost cameraman, he traveled back to Japan actually. We miss him.
We miss him. So I just went over to my branding palette here and chose one of these colors and logos and just placed it in the.
Okay, so you copy paste your name.
I just copy and paste right here, just to think like this is like how the branding at the top of it will be, and this could change at any time.
Yeah.
I just want to get something in there, and the second thing I want to do is create this repeatable element at the bottom, which are is the menu bar.
Oh, the menu bar.
Home, notifications, search, and profile.
Profile. Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to take this box at the top, which is 45 pixels tall, drag it down to the bottom using Option and Shift to duplicate, and also
same size.
Keep the alignment.
Consistent.
And then I'm going to go in here and select a few icons that I think that would be appropriate. So I said home, right? So you have a home, and I'll shift
silence for the camera. Yeah, they found a good name. I like it. Like camera.
When I read that, I died laughing, and I was back there, and you guys were recording, and I was like trying to keep it in. Oh my gosh! Like so home, and what else do we have? Notifications. So there's a bell, and there's also like this flag here, which is interesting. But I think I'll try it. I don't know. Click both, and then magnifying glass, like this one, minimalist, and then. Oh, we don't have anything for profile. All right, let's just copy what we have. We don't have one for profile.
Yeah, maybe you can take the square.
What's that?
There's a square. Maybe you can change it after.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to draw our own. That's not a big deal.
Maybe you can draw, like a circle and this. Maybe you can draw it directly.
It's not hard to create. All right, let's align our order here. What do you like better? Do you like the flag or the bell better for notifications?
Like, would you expect? Maybe we can ask in the chat.
I'm thinking bell, but if you guys want to have a vote,
have an opinion.
I'll draw the icon for the avatar.
Yeah.
And you guys vote on if you guys want bell or
let us know.
Flag.
Bell or flag.
All right.
Very important decision.
I'm going to use the what is the tool? Okay, no, not.
They say flag. They say bell.
L is for line. What's for? Is it O for oval?
Okay, that's a bell.
What's the shortcut for ellipse? Oh, it's E. I was thinking oval for some reason. All right, about that size.
Okay, thank you guys. I think we have a winner.
What did we go with?
The bell.
The bell. That's obvious, I think. I'm going to increase the border a little bit. Looks about 2 pixels, and remove the fill.
No, we won't put emojis.
Border needs to be black.
In the UI.
You said emojis?
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty cool idea. Copy.
Like the Twitch ones, like Kappa. Not sure.
What's that?
They want to use like the classic Twitch ones.
Yeah. Copy and paste. When you copy and paste in Illustrator, it pastes kind of in the center of the board, like that. But in XD, it pastes on top of what you copied.
So in Illustrator, to copy at the same place, it's Command Shift V.
Oh, I always use Command F, which is paste in front.
Oh, so
that's what I always did.
If you do Command C and Command Shift V, it will keep the position.
Yeah. So does Command F, and you can paste in front or behind. So you can say Command B to paste behind the thing that you copied, which is
that's good.
I like that one. All right, so I'm making myself a little avatar here. Oh.
No, we won't use a baguette. Yeah. It's just in French UI where you can put a baguette. Say, you have a notification.
All right, and we're gonna do
the Pathfinder.
Nope, that's the wrong one. I always
that's how to use the Pathfinder, by the way.
What's that?
You click and say no.
This is how professionals use the Pathfinder. Just click all of them, and that's the one you want. Okay, so I noticed that the one I didn't want, or the one that I want, is not there. So I was hoping it would just be more of a mask, and I think we actually can mask here. Let's just do a mask. That's not what I wanted either. Okay, if I put this behind, it will probably mask.
You can, but in 2 steps.
No, not what I wanted. Okay, so what we'll do here is I'll copy this big circle
I guess you can keep the
on my copy board, and then I'll just do exclude, right?
Yeah, that's what
and then paste in front. So now we have a little.
Got it.
And then I'll take these and I'll griggity group them together. Cool. So we're getting rid of the flag. Sorry, flag.
Flag is to flag something. Yeah, we got it. We will use the bell. Don't worry.
And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to align these things together. And
why not make it a doorbell? Yeah, to match with the place. Okay, but it's hard to represent. So, a doorbell. I don't know.
I don't know
how to create the icon for that.
So what I need to do right now is align these things all together across the artboard here. Distribute, yeah. So if I did like a distribute, like move this where I think it's going to be, I wouldn't know if it's going to be in the right place. So I'm going to try something that I think might work. Okay. I'm just going to duplicate this box up here and make it small, and then drag it over here to where it's like on the edge here. And then I'm going to use all of these guys to distribute like that. Nice. And then I'll center them all together, and then I can just get rid of these two. So
it's a good trick.
Yeah, making stuff up. It works sometimes. All right.
Hey, here you go.
Let's put these up 1, 2, 3, 4, 16 pixels up from the bottom, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 16 pixels from the top. Is that too big? That looks all right. I don't know what I don't know what the standard is actually.
And you have to tap on it, So you need at least something like 30 pixels, So
yeah,
I think it should be fine.
All right. If it's wrong, we can change it. It's fine. Let's make them white so I can like pop a little bit more.
Yeah.
So to get these vectors to change the fill, I need to double click into it, and then I have access to the fill because it's like a vector group. So, and then when I change it, I only have one piece. Got to click that other one, and then change that to
because
fill.
it's a group.
Mm-hmm.
Get it.
So double click into it.
This one is one piece. So
yeah.
Should be easier.
Depends on the construction of the icon, because it had like this floating bit down here.
Yeah.
This should be one piece too.
Yeah.
And then the one we drew is going to be a little bit different. Can you make outlines out of strokes yet?
Not yet.
Not yet?
No.
Okay, so we're just going to change the stroke color itself. Change that to white.
Nice.
I could just get all of them. Am I in that? Change the border to white. Okay. So we've got the three icons at the bottom. I think they're a little big. It's hard to tell right now.
Okay, so they say it should be 42 pixel.
What should be 42 pixels?
High.
The bottom thing? So we're at 65. Let's do 42, and then we'll minimize our icons down to fit into it. What should the padding be on the do you guys in the chat know what should the padding be between the icons and the box that they're in? There's 10. We'll just do 10. So I'm going to copy and paste and then make this 10 pixels tall. So I can try to get some padding in here, and I'll just change the color a little bit so I can get like a guide for the padding.
Okay.
Oh, I'm holding caps lock. I'm like, why is my shift click not working? I was caps locking. All right, and then I'll shrink these fellers down.
Okay.
Hope that's not too small, and then we'll repeat that kind of. Oops.
Yeah, I really like this trick.
You like this trick?
Yeah.
I'm glad you like it, because it's the best thing I got. All right, and then we're going to distribute. Cool. So we got the padding at the top and at the bottom, 10 pixels, and it's 32 pixels tall. Is that? This stroke looks a little heavy now because
that's
the other
stroke,
ones. Yeah. So let's select 1.
It's 2, so yeah.
2 and 3.
And maybe a stroke of 1.
Stroke 1? Yeah, that looks pretty good. A 1.
Oh, you still have something.
What? Yeah, what's black?
It was like an old one.
Is there more than one circle in there?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll just delete it. Nope. There it is.
Good job.
Oops.
Boom.
Okay, got it. Fantastic. Menu bar. All right, now looking back to our sketch, referencing these things, we have the 3 cities in like a kind of like a thumbnail situation, and then a geolocating option at the bottom. And my mouse is gone. That makes me so sad. There it is. Okay.
Hey.
I hope we're not going to be fighting batteries for the next 90 minutes.
It's magic.
Okay. Let's start with rectangles. Just R for rectangle, and then I'll just click out and click a shape. And then I'll go in here and do the width. So the width is 360, and I want like, I guess, 8 pixels on each side. So 344 is the width that I want this to be.
Okay.
So I want 8 pixels of padding on each side. And there we are.
Nice.
And then down 1, 2, 8 from the top. Okay. And let's make the border gone, actually, and fill it with a subtle gray. So we're just kind of blocking things out right now. Oh, actually, we don't need to, because we have the repeat grid, don't we? No. Let's add the font, the title of the. Where is it here? So if I click the type already, it kind of like applies that style to the next selection that I make. So if I click meta information, the next thing would be if I click in and start typing, it would be 12 pixels. But if I click headline, the next thing I start typing will be a headline. So I'm going to click T for my type tool, and this is going to be Paris. And it's already inherited the style of.
I'm not sure. It looks like Helvetica.
Oh, boo! I thought that would work.
You have to copy it, maybe.
I thought it was like if you select it and then you type next. Yeah, that worked.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I did something else in between. Okay, so this is, I want to call this Paris, and we'll put it in here. Now remember, our magic number is 8 for this design. We're going to get 8 pixels here, so we'll make a padding of 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so yeah, we have 32 high for the bottom, which is divisible by 8. We have 8 padding right here, 16 padding right here. This font size is 32, so like everything's kind of like working here. We got nice proportions in our design, and also we have an icon over here that I wanted to use, this kind of like angle. This is to kind of let you know that this block is going to be a link of some sort. So I'll click the angle and click the square, center it. Oops. So the reason it moved my block here is because my angle is outside of my block, and I'm centering them both together. So if I align to bottom, it's gonna jump to my angle, and then I can center it quickly, and then I'll align to right, and so quick, and then I'll move it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 16. So I moved it 20 out and 4 back. That's a quick 16. And let's change. Actually, let's just start. I think we're good now. Let's make a repeat grid out of this.
That's the cool feature of Adobe XD.
Yeah, you just.
And you can play with the space also between the elements to make sure this is.
Yeah,
this will be 16.
It gives you 20. Let's give it 16, right? Actually, let's do 8. There now we have a nice flow right here of even proportions going through.
Yeah.
And let's go make this not full screen anymore, and come over to these images that I grabbed, and cities. Go to cities. Now we have Miami, New York. Is there a way to control the order that these things get pasted in?
That's the order of the Finder. So there is no way.
Oh, that's alphabetical order?
Yeah, or in the Finder, I
or
guess.
if I order it to...
Let's try, yeah.
Date added?
Yeah, let's try.
Let's do date added. It's different. Miami is at the top. Let's see what happens. Miami. Okay.
Is at the top.
And then was it New York and Paris?
So,
okay.
Yeah, that was the order.
So let me undo that and then reorder them in a different way and see what happens. Oh, that's still name. Date modified? It's all the same.
Yeah, because it's the same date.
Size. Okay, we're going to do it by size. And then drag it in. See if SF is at the top. Oh, that's a nice handy hint.
Yeah.
Okay, so I noticed that obviously that these black angles here are getting drowned out. So I can click into any one of these. It doesn't matter which one.
Okay.
And then just change the fill, and it changes for all of them because it's a repeating element. And then also I noticed here that my text element here is a little drowned out here, like down here where it says Paris over New York. I can barely see it. So I want to take it from gray and make it completely white to make it pop. Now there might be I can't necessarily control the images.
Yeah.
So like, what if it's over like a bright white sky, or what if it's yeah, exactly. So there's like a snowy scene. So what I want to do is kind of add a little bit of a screen. Now I could do that in two ways. I could double click into there. Well, that's one way. Let me start by doing this. I could do a rectangle and just put it on top of Paris here.
Okay.
And then change the fill to black or something, or even maybe like, let's be a little bit more adventurous. Change it to like this weird green.
Okay.
And then if I press the number keys, I can quickly jump the transparency. You see it like that? So I had my finger over the number 2.
You just press 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I just pressed number 2, and it goes to 20%. If I quickly press 2, 3, it goes to 23. So that's a way to like just try out different like options when you're dealing with transparency. So let's try 20%, and I noticed that, oh, you know what? That rectangle is on top of the lettering, which I was trying to bring it out anyway. So I press Command, that way bracket, and that way bracket.
Oh, that's a group. No.
Oh, this is not in the repeatable pattern group.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's copy that or Command X to cut it out. Now let's paste it back where it was. Now it's showing up on all three of them.
Now you can change the order.
And it's within the group, so I can change the order.
Look at that.
So now you see how those white letter forms are showing through, and also
good.
the angle on the right. But that green is kind of weird, and it's super thematic. Maybe if it was like, well, let's go to Brazil, and it has like this nice rich green on it, it would be kind of like a little bit more thematic. But maybe it's not good for Paris.
No.
So let's delete this element and then go over to that gradient and see if that gradient can help us out. I'm going to copy it and then
that's a gradient coming from Illustrator.
Yeah,
we were talking about it later. Yeah.
Exactly. Do you want to tell them the story about that?
And the thing is that so it will be in the future release. You will have the gradient tool directly within the tool, that's for sure. But for the moment, just create it in Illustrator and copy paste. It will become an SVG gradient. So.
Hey man, everybody who watches the Dev Tip Show, we all know it's all about hacking. You got to keep on hacking. Hack the tools that you're given.
Hacking.
Yeah. So I have this rectangle gradient inside of the repeat grid, so like it's dancing around for all of them, and I can align it to the top pretty easy with these smart guides. Stretch it out, and there we go. Now, this is interesting because it's an exported gradient. I don't have a lot of those fine-tuned controls like multiple points and adjusting the points and things. And so, but what's fun about the repeat grid is that if I drag this gradient off the grid, it kind of deletes, or like it gets dragged off in every instance. Now I can still see the padding there, so we can like do, I don't know, whatever to fix it, masking, whatever. But it's interesting that like you can get rid of problems by just moving them off the grid, and it'll remove itself for for all of them. So let's move it back inside of our group to make the letters pop, and then this gradient is just far too strong. So I can use that same shortcut and just click a number here. I typed 4, and now all of these lettering is just popping off the page. And as we've seen in other repeat grid demonstrations, the lettering here is like the content is all individually editable. So our first city here is actually San Francisco, and our second city is Miami. Where did Paris go?
And New York.
And the next one is New York.
That's fine. I can move to another city.
You're going to have to. That's really what I'm trying to get you to do, is come to San Francisco. In fact, let's find a house for you. Okay, so this looks pretty good. I'm asking myself, why is this up from the bottom so far? It's if I was going to use my proportions here, and I don't even, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even know what the height of my box is. I didn't even try to like figure that. I just drew a random box size. What size is it? It's 154. Let's do this. Let's say 8 times 20. That's 160. 154, 160. Yeah, let's just move it to 160. Why? Wait, no. Anyway. Good, good, good. And that was just the drop shadow, or the whatever that thing's called. Yeah. When does the repeat grid move itself? Is it like when the biggest element? See, because I noticed that the repeat grid got bigger when I moved the image, but not the drop shadow. Is there an insight there you know about? Like what makes it
decide that this is the?
Yeah, that'd be interesting to find out. Like what determines the size element of it? Because it was like an original element.
Yeah,
maybe. It's the opacity is so low. I'm having trouble seeing the edge of box. So I'm gonna hit 0 so I can get that dark.
Good idea.
There we go.
There we go.
Aligned pretty good. And then I'm gonna go back into the repeat grids padding, spacing here, and grab some purple. Yeah. Give me some purple.
Please. Yeah, maybe just select once the grid. You don't have to be in an item. Here.
Oh, I was in too far.
Yeah.
And 8 pixels.
8. Okay.
Cool. All right, now everything's kind of proportional. Let's take that screen back to 2.
Credit Cloud lovers say I live in SF. It's ridiculous here. Like ridiculous. Ridiculous what?
What happened?
What do you mean? Like we have Credit Cloud lover in the chat saying I live in SF. It is ridiculous here.
It's ridiculous here?
Yeah.
Oh, we're probably talking about housing.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess.
We all feel that pain. Okay, so I put the text on the bottom here, and it looks kind of cool. Like there's bleeding. The white lettering is bleeding off into,
the space. Yeah.
It's kind of fun. But I'm noticing here that even though we have like really nice imagery, and we have this angle showing us that it's a link, and they have the name of the city, it's still not super compelling. And it doesn't tell the story of what this is about.
It's true.
You know, like this is about housing. Like, it's not about bridges or photos. Right. This would be a travel thing, right? I want to kind of reinforce the idea here that this is about housing. And if I'm looking back at my sketches, I don't have anything to inform my next steps. And so what I want to do is just what I'm trying to illustrate is that the sketches, although they're helpful in a guide, they're not going to dictate what I do now. I'm not constrained to them.
Okay.
I'm going to still use the creative process in macro and micro cycles. So I'm using the big cycles, the big process that we talked about, but I'm using it in small stages too, like discovery. Like I executed what my idea was, and I discovered that it's not efficient enough. It's not practical enough for my use. So I'm going to iterate. I'm going to try something new. Okay. So how can we say that this is a listing marketplace? One idea might be to throw some like
thumbnails, like
previews, or maybe like some metadata. Yes, we have San Francisco, but how many listings in San Francisco? What's the average price of a home in San Francisco? How many successful housing placements has this company done so far this month, or something like that? So we can do something to like drum up the excitement. Like, oh, they have 7,000 listings right now available for me to check out. I'm in. It gets you more excited with more information. So let's go back over to our type styles and see what would be good there. We could use this meta information here. We could use a supporting text is a little bit bigger. Let's try a meta information. I do fear that it's a little too small. So I'll click on it, and then I'll click inside
the
type and start typing. No, it didn't work. I was hoping. So here's my theory of why that didn't work. I was hoping that because the principle is that if I click on a type and then click type tool and click in, it gets that type style.
Yeah.
And generally that's true. It just worked right here, right? Roboto 18.
Because you are in the.
Because I had to double click on the repeat grid to get in.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. All right.
Okay, maybe you can just.
Not a big problem. I'll just copy it. Yeah, exactly right. So let me try that meta information copy. And to be honest, that's what I would have done normally, but I was trying this trick that I learned on the tutorial videos that Mike Locke made for you guys, who's a really good YouTuber.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to paste inside the repeat grid, and I notice that it's showing up in all of the instances of the repeat grid. But the color is wrong, of course. So let's change it to white. And it's already on top of the screen that we have there. But it's kind of having a little bit of a fight, right, with this. So let's try to see what we can do here alignment-wise.
Nice.
I was worried that it would be too small.
No, I think it's okay.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
But what we can do is diminish it a little bit by using the opacity of that element. So right now it's fully opaque.
Oh, yeah,
so let's make it, maybe turn it down to 80%. So it's like not as in your face, something like that.
Okay.
And also it's a little bit of stylish. It lets the flavor of the city show through.
The haze.
We don't have a, see how it's all caps? We don't have a type style to make things capitalized yet, but I imagine something like that would happen in the future. Hint, hint. No, just kidding. So I'll do a caps lock. So what would be a good meta information? Like how many listings are in the city, right? So we'll say 3,025 listings. Oh, it's not caps. That could work. Another option maybe, let's look at our icons and see what we have here. Ooh, maybe this, locations. I'm just kind of grabbing at straws here. It's nothing was really planned out at this point. Star maybe. Let's just go with locations. It's not perfect, but we're just gonna ad lib here. We're gonna yes and our own design. Yes, and of course locations. Okay, and paste that icon in, and I'm gonna double click in so I can change the fill to white. Change this fill to white. Yeah, there's two parts in the SVG, and I'm gonna shrink it down a little bit, holding Shift to constrain my resize. Put it over here. Align it with the. Let's size a little bit. Okay. And then what was the opacity of this? 80%?
80.
We'll make this 80% too. Cool. Now,
guys in the chat on Twitch, also in 10 minutes we'll be with Ashley Carr.
Oh my goodness, are we running out of time already? I was thinking like, what we're going to do is we're going to build all these screens today, and then tomorrow we'll code them. This is what happens when you talk when you're designing. Like it goes way slower. So we'll definitely just continue where we picked up tomorrow.
Yeah. Also, we'll give away some Creative Cloud subscriptions. So stay with us, just in a few minutes.
That's in 5 minutes.
We still have 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes. What do you think about this? Listings. How's that style working?
I like it.
Maybe I think what it is the screen is not. Whoops. It needs a little bit more
contrast.
Something. Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was getting lost. Cool. All right, and then the last thing we wanted to do at the bottom.
Oh, there's the nearby.
Is what?
Nearby, near me.
Yeah, like use geolocation.
For the.
So I don't have enough room to do it. But the thing is, like our phones have an endless canvas, right? And so we should be able to quickly replicate that. I click on the name of the artboard, and I can quickly just say 640 is not going to do it for me anymore. I'm going to do 1640, and immediately I get a lot more artboard. I'm going to click select all these and group them together with a Command G, and I can just slide these down and make more room here. Now, these are on a repeat grid, but the style is so specific to. Question: can I target one element in the repeat grid to add a background, or if I add it to?
No, it will be everywhere.
Everywhere, right?
So you should
create
a new one.
Right. So what I want to do is double click into there.
Yeah.
Select all that work, copy, select out of the repeat grid, and paste, and just drag down like normal, like a savage. So we don't have our repeat grid. That made us lazy. 8 pixels padding. And we have a map here of San Francisco because this is where we are. So we want to say,
nice.
Click this image, and then drop the map right onto the New York image. I'm hypothesizing. Yes. Okay, it worked.
Yeah.
And put the overlay back on, and this will say something like near me. Oops. Near me. Or should it be near you? It should be you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm always confused with that.
I was reading the material guidelines from Google's material design, and they have, yes, all these beautiful visuals, but they also have a really great language guide, which is just amazing. Like, how do you label buttons? Yeah, it's worth a read. When I was doing my interview process at Google, I really focused on that because I wanted to find something that like is easily overlooked and show my attention to detail. So I focused on this language, like how do you use a button to label it to make people like more
so when did you
personal.
join Google?
About 4 months ago.
Oh, okay, it's quite recent.
It's pretty recent, yeah. All right, so
I didn't know when I contacted you.
You didn't know I was at Google.
I had no idea.
I know that's I don't really like. It's a job, right? I mean, I love it, but it's a job. So I'm gonna move that back up.
It's a small startup. If you don't know Google,
you never heard of it.
Yeah.
Nobody's blaming you. And I'm just going to move this back up to make it look a little bit cleaner, but so we can see how like you can just endlessly scroll.
And you invite
this particular phone is like really long.
Must be a HTC.
Okay, so I think that just a really quick criticism of this work here. I think that maybe the tiles are too large because as our company grows and we want to support more cities, this is going to be really long. And also, I think the near you feature is a pretty good feature. So maybe I could distinguish it a little bit differently than making it look like another city, right? I can make it a little bit more individualistic. And then the other criticism I have is like the color is pretty because I didn't use anything else other than the orange and the white, and then let the images speak for themselves. And there is something to say about that. Like, it's a gallery kind of thing. You want the images to speak for yourselves, but I don't feel like the personality of place, the application, is coming through in just the color, and maybe that's something I can look at.
Yeah, maybe work on. Yeah, orange can become not a texture, but only something like all the squares you were working on.
Yeah, maybe I can use that pattern that I had over here and like
maybe
use a header of that or something.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see tomorrow.
Interesting.
Thanks for watching video 2 of this 3-part series. I'll be back next week with part 3. Last week I gave you a challenge to try your hand at sketching some of the screens using the things that you learned in that last video. And this week, I think we should continue that challenge to start making some high fidelity designs using your favorite software, keeping in mind the things that we discussed in this video. Hit me up on Twitter with your projects. I'd like to see them. @DevTipShow is the Twitter handle. I'm curious to see what y'all come up with. Every week I do these videos and I thank the patrons of the show. But honestly, I'm kind of thanking them on your behalf. Because YouTube is not my career and I don't use the money that patrons donate to feed my family or whatever. I put 100% of the money back into the channel to make these videos better in one way or another. So on behalf of everyone who benefits from DevTips, thank you, patrons. Now, if you've found value in this channel over time and have been teetering on the fence about throwing a few bucks at the channel, check out patreon.com/devtips to find out about the few perks that are available to those who give. Anyway, ending videos is always the hardest part. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. This is a long one, and keep on hacking. We'll see you next week. Welcome back to the Adobe Live event. Welcome back to week 2 or day 2. Thanks for watching video 2. Thanks for watching video 2 of this 3-part series. I'll be back next week with part 3.